today what we're going to do is we're going to start semester 2. We're going to be using a lot of the skills that we learned in chapter 6. And we're going to start off with graphing first of all. So we've done graphing. That's not new. What is new is what we're doing with the graphing. And then 7B, you'll notice, is substitution, and then elimination, and then solve real-world linear problems. What do you think that is? Solve real-world...
Like problems you're using everyday life?
Everyday life, yeah. They're word problems, is what they are. And we're going to treat them separate. So the first test that we do, we're going to do graphing, substitution, and elimination. What those are is this. In your tool belt, you have several different tools. You have a needle nose pliers, you got a monkey wrench, and you got another pliers. Okay? You use a different pliers for a different job that you want done. That's the same thing with graphing, substitution, and elimination. It's just different ways of getting the same job done. Okay? So we'll be looking at that more. And then the real world problems we're going to take separate. You're going to take a separate test on that. So it's not all together and it's not overwhelming. Okay? So today what we're going to do is it says tell whether the ordered pair is a solution of the linear system. Now you've seen this before, but it was a little bit different because rather than two equations we had what? We had one. So you're going to do this like you did before, but rather than checking it in one equation, you're going to check it in two, right? So let's take the first equation. It's 3x plus y equals 9. And remember that the 2 is the x and the 3 is the y. Okay, so remember in an ordered pair, I've got x comma y. So it's going to be 3 parentheses 2 plus y, which is 3, equals 9. Okay, 3 times 2 is plus 3 is 9. So 9 equals 9. Does that work? That's a check. That works. Okay? Now we've done that before. When we did that before, what did this tell me? What about that ordered pair? That dot. What do I know about it? Yeah. It equals, but what does it mean? I've got an equation that's a line and I got a dot. What does it mean? What about that dot? Is it off the line or is it on the line? It's on the line because it's equals, right? Because it works. Okay, now let's take the other equation. Okay, I've got x, which is 2 minus 3 equals negative 1. 2 minus 3 is negative 1 equals negative 1. Does that work? Yes. So it says, tell whether the ordered pair is a solution. Is it a solution? It's a solution. So I'm going to go solution. And this is what's going on. Okay? Here's the first line. Here's the dot that's on that line. Yes? Okay? If that dot is also on the second line, what do I know about these two lines? Well, they could be perpendicular. We don't know for sure because we don't know their slopes. But I do know that they intersect at that dot, don't they? They have a common point. And where they intersect is where that dot is. That's what we're trying to figure out. Where these two lines intersect. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Right? And the same thing, I'm going to do a check. So you can almost do it by yourself. And then check up here to see if you're right. Does the first equation work? Yep. Good. Most of you could do it. It was pretty easy, wasn't it? Okay, look at the second equation. second equation work? No. So it's no solution. Okay, and this is what's going on. So do you see in the first equation that dot is on the line? Do you see that? So this is what's going on. Here's a line, and here's the dot, and I know it works, correct? But that dot doesn't work on this other one. So it might be doing this. It's still crossing the line, but I don't know where it is. I could try another dot and it could work for both. But right now, that dot does not work for both of them. We okay? Questions? Okay. This says solve the linear system by graphing, and this is what's key. It says graphing, and this is the first standard, so you want to make sure you get it. So what we're going to do is we have to graph this. I'm going to put it in slope-intercept form. What is that equation? Y equals mx plus b. Have we seen that before? Oh my heavens, yes, right? First equation, how do I get it in that form? Subtract 4x. So 2y equals negative 4x plus 12. Does the 4x have to come first? Yep, got to. Okay, now what? Divide by 2. Have we done this before? A lot, haven't we? Y equals what? Negative 2x plus 6. What's my m? Negative 2 or negative 2 over 1, and my b is 6. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like seriously, Mrs. Hutter, we do this all the time. I want to gag it so bad, right? Yeah, we do it a lot, and that's why we do it, is because it's so important. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to graph it. Now when you graph these, you have to use graph paper, and you're going to see why, okay? So I've got negative 2 for my slope, and I got 6 for my y-intercept. So which one do I graph first? My y-intercept. So I go 2, 4, 6, right? And I got it right there. And if it's negative 2 for slope, how do I move it? Down to right 1. Down to right 1. And I'm going to do more than 3 dots. In fact, I'm going to do quite a few. Because I got to be dead on. Quite frankly, I've got to make sure that this thing is totally right on. Because if I'm not, if I try to get them to cross, they won't cross correctly. Okay, so I'm just going to do a ton of dots, and then I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to make sure I have arrows on both ends, because it keeps going forever and ever and ever, right? So here I go. There's my line. And I mean, I have to be really accurate. There. Okay? We all right? Got to have an arrow, got to go through all those points, and I make more than 3 dots, and you're going to see why in just a minute. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the other equation. The other equation was 2x minus y equals negative 10. How do I get y by itself? Good, I'm going to subtract 2x. In fact, something like this we had on our test. What do I get left over? Negative y equals negative 2x minus 10, and then what do I do? I can multiply by negative 1 or just divide by negative 1. So I get y equals what? 2x plus 10. M is 2 or 2 over 1. My b is 10. Okay? We all right? Questions? So what do I graph first? Do I graph my slope or my y-intercept? y-intercept. I always start with my y-intercept, always. It's like home. I got to start there first. So I'm going to go to my graph, and I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's right here, right there. And how do I move it? What's my slope? Up to right 1. Okay, I ran out of graph. So I could go up to right 1, or I can go down to left 1, right? Right here. Now this one, I only need to do 3 dots. Why? Why don't I have to do a ton more? Was it off? Oh, the third one was off. Thank you. Why do I only need to do like 3? Why don't I have to do more? Yeah.
Because
They intersect, don't they? Yeah, my lines intersect. In fact, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line. And I want to make sure that I have arrows on both sides. Okay? And I love, see if I can find a really cool thing. I really like that, right? Oops, I didn't do what I wanted it to do. No, I want the heart. Here, I'll do it here, and then I'll move it. I really like this. Why do I like it? Because that's where they intersect, absolutely. And I'm going to get an ordered pair. What's my ordered pair? Where do they intersect? Negative 1, 8. And if I were to check that ordered pair, which equation should it check in? Both. And if they don't check in both, what? You did something wrong. So now we got to go find it, right?
do you want us to check?
If it asks you to check it, do. If you're on a test, should you? Absolutely. Yeah, because that, I mean, that could give you the 4. That could give you the A that you want. Okay? Questions? Okay. Take a look. Next one. First equation. Do I need to get in slope-intercept form? Why? It's already there. What's my M? 4 or 4 over 1, and my B is 4. Super easy, right? And then I go to my graph. What do I start at? 4, and how do I move it? Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and right 1. Okay, and I kind of get the idea, so now I'm going to go the other direction. And I'm going to do more than 1 point, more than 3. And I'm doing it because I've got to know exactly where those points are. Do you see now where you got to know exactly where those points are? If you don't know where they are, you're going to have problems. Okay, so I'm going to come here, grab my line. I'm going to even make it green because I can. Okay, and there's my line. Some kids will bring a ruler because they want their line like super neat. I don't care what you do, but you gotta have it on graph paper. You don't have a choice. Okay. Now I'm gonna go back. Is the second equation in slope-intercept form? No. Okay. So 2y equals negative 3x minus 14. How do I get it there? Divide by 2. Y gives me what? Negative 3 over 2 x minus 7. Can I write negative 1.5? How about negative 1 1/2? No. Nope. What's my M? What's my B? What do I graph first? My slope or my y-intercept? Y-intercept. Okay. So I'm going to grab -7, 2, 4, 6, 7. And what's my slope? How do I move it? Down. What was my slope? -3/2. Okay, so how do I move it? Down what? Down 3, right 2. Yep. Okay? Or up 3, left 2. Oh, look at that. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Look at that. And it should be like, yes, they intersected. Like, that's a good thing. If they don't intersect pretty for you, you did something wrong. I'm going to tell you that right now, okay? And I'm going to graph it with my pretty red line. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my pretty heart because I love that. And it's going to be like dead on. It's going to be a pretty ordered pair and it's going to work.
I thought you only had to do 3.
It depends on where it intersects. Okay, so you could probably get away with just 3. I did one more just to make sure I got that line nicely through it. What's my ordered pair? -2, comma, -4. That's where the 2 intersect. And that should check in which equation? The red one or the green one? Both. And again, if it doesn't check, you did something wrong. So then you have to go back and you have to find it. Okay? Questions? All right, that's it for today.